According to a recent survey, Arkansas ranked as the 5th worst state to move to in the United States. But Arkansas is still attracting way more people to the state than people that are leaving. So we're going to cover why are people moving to this area, and if you stick to the end, I'll give you my secret as a lifelong resident for loving life here. The biggest thing I see people talk about when they're thinking about a move to Arkansas has to be the cost of living. Cost of living here tends to be way easier to deal with than the rest of the country. And our average home sales is around $230,000. Now granted, that's not going to get you a mansion anytime soon, but it will be a very nice starter home, maybe even next level home at that $230,000 range, which from what I understand and all the news that's going out there, as far as cost of living goes, that's an incredible deal compared to the rest of the country. In fact, I'm talking with people all the time. I'm working with a gentleman right now. Him and his family are looking at moving here for a new job opportunity, and he is literally getting to cut his mortgage in half. Even with rising interest rates, he's able to cut his mortgage in half because the same home that he has up in other parts of the country is about half of what he's spending here. So especially depending on your different financial situations, the cost of living tends to be one of the main things that attract people here to our area. One of the big misconceptions I hear about Arkansas is that there's nothing to do here. In fact, people tend to think we all just sit around with no shoes on playing banjos all day. Well, maybe some of us do. Hey, no judgment with you and your banjo, but for us, Jonesboro is known as the natural state. It means we do love to be outdoors. Despite what part of the state that you're in, Jonesboro has some beautiful stuff to look at. In fact, I was just on a field trip with my daughter in one of our many natural parks, and it's just gorgeous. Some of the opportunities that people have just regular daily life as you walk outside and are greeted with such beautiful scenery. In fact, it's something that I've tended to take for granted as I've lived here and then travel to see other friends who live in maybe bigger cities where it's not so available to just get out and be with nature. So with nature, you have things like hunting, fishing. I personally love to go camping. I got rained out last weekend, but I'm looking forward to my next camping trip where you just get to go out, unplug, slow down, and just be. Man, I know that sounds kind of crazy, kind of hippie-ish, but I'll tell you, there's just nothing like being out in nature where you're supposed to be. Flip side of that is maybe just being in nature isn't your thing, but you still like to get outside. Arkansas hosts some of the most beautiful golf courses, and so many of my buddies, many of my friends, we love to be outdoors. This tends to be, again, one of the main things that attracts people to Arkansas is just the scenery. And so if you love RVing or traveling, hiking, or just getting out and hitting the links, Arkansas is sure to be a place where you're going to be satisfied. And again, when you add that with your cost of living, maybe it means you can afford that driver that you've been trying to save up for. One of the main things that brings people to the area is our economic opportunity. I know, again, people think there's not really a lot going on here, but this is a growing state, and these are great job opportunities to be had, whether you're in Northwest Arkansas, looking at Walmart or any of the retail industry that's around that area, Central Arkansas with some of its educational, healthcare, those sort of things, or here where we're at, where our predominant driver for economic opportunity is agriculture, and then all of the supporting industry that goes around that. So in our area, the main things that draw people here up in the Northeast Arkansas side of the state is the agriculture, financial services that go along with that. We have a lot of healthcare. Our little city is the main hub for healthcare for really this whole region of the state. So lots of doctors, lots of nurses, lots of healthcare professionals are moving here to call this home. And then we also have a big manufacturing side of the city as well. Lots of things are made here in Northeast Arkansas and around the state. And so steel, conveyor systems, all the things right now that are going into making sure that places like Amazon or all the online retail stuff, that has to have a physical location. And so all of that is happening here. So those things get built here. We're drawing in people all the time, professionals from around the country that are starting their jobs here and growing these different career opportunities. And then also our side of the state hosts one of the largest universities as well for Arkansas. So lots of higher education, and those professionals find themselves here in Northeast Arkansas as well. If you're wondering about a move to Arkansas or what that might look like for you, or even if it's the right thing for you, comment below. I'd love to maybe answer some questions and demystify a little bit of Arkansas and, hey, maybe help you pick out your favorite banjo. So one of the other big things that brings people to our area is it's just centrally located. Where is Arkansas, you might be wondering? Well, it's dead in the middle of the country. And so that means that you can get just about anywhere pretty quickly. In fact, hitting the highway or the interstate, you can get to Memphis, Tennessee, which has an international airport, just about right at an hour. I know people always think it's crazy that we don't have an international airport here in Jonesboro, but I like to remind people, it took me less time to get to the Memphis airport from Jonesboro than it did for me to get to the Orlando airport when I was staying in Orlando. So we don't have the traffic or the busyness or congestion that a lot of other places have. So for me to get to even another state's airport, I'm able to be up in the air a lot quicker than some of my friends in their bigger towns. So that's handy. And let's say flying isn't quite your thing. Well, driving distance, we're pretty close to a lot of pretty cool places. As I mentioned, we're about an hour from Memphis, Tennessee. There's always some fun stuff going on there. Again, I'm talking from the perspective of the northeast side of the state, but Memphis hosts all sorts of fun festivals, music venues, just plenty of fun opportunities. Just get out if you want a quick weekend getaway. St. Louis also is one of my favorite little weekend getaways. If you're a Major League Baseball fan, of course, the Cardinals are going to be hosting people all the time there. Plenty of museums and fun things to do. Also, it's one of my favorite little family getaways. Lots of super fun stuff for families to do. And it's about a 4-hour drive, honestly a little less, just depending on traffic. I have family that's in Nashville. When they were first moving away to Nashville, I thought, man, I'll never see them again. I tell you, it's a quick interstate, 4-hour drive to get to Nashville. And man, obviously it hosts plenty of music, all of great food that you want to eat. And it's a great little getaway for anyone that's just ready for a change of scenery for a couple days or more. Also, we've got Dallas, we've got New Orleans. These are all right around 7-hour drives. I know it's stretching out a little bit now, but some people aren't a huge fan of the mess of having to crawl and drag all your stuff to airport and go through security just to land somewhere. So if you're interested in a 7-hour trip on the road, you can be in Dallas, you can be in New Orleans, you can get to several different places. And our family, we love to hit the road every year and head to the beach. And I've got kids. I'm not able to just go out and get a plane ticket every single time our whole family wants to go somewhere. So we load up in the car and we're on the beach in about 8 or 9 hours, depending on which one we choose. So if you love the Gulf Coast, if you love the beach, you love that vibe, you can be there pretty quick and you're not out the airfare for an entire family. Believe it or not, one of the other benefits of Arkansas that I hear brought up more than I really would have expected as someone who's just kind of been here and always known this is our climate. We have a pretty mild climate, relatively speaking. I know a lot of people, depending on whether they're far north or maybe on the West Coast or whatever, they love to have different seasons. Well, I'll tell you, Arkansas gets all 4 seasons. We get hot summers, we get cold winters. However, a lot of my friends up north like to remind me that what I consider cold is not really cold. We'll get a few below freezing days in the winter, but nothing like what my friends farther north might experience. But then we get a beautiful spring and a beautiful fall. In fact, right now it's gorgeous right now. The weather is perfect. And so we get some great weather. It's not real extremes on either side. Our part of the state is known for a higher humidity. So if you're not a fan of that vibe, our part might not be for you. Northwest is known for a little more of a drier climate, a little more hilly, so it breaks up some of that moisture as well. But anyway, great part of the state to visit, and if you like all 4 seasons, Arkansas just might be the place for you. And then finally, my secret. I got to give you away my secret to loving life here in Arkansas. And to me, it's all about the people. Once you find your people here in this community, it's hard to get away. I joke all the time that this is a sticky place. And what I mean by that is really the Southern hospitality is real here. And once you have a community, once you have a group of people, there's a quick family bond that can happen here. Your circle of people, your friends, they tend to be very welcoming and would love to invite you in. I know there's exceptions in any circle. I can only speak from my own experiences, but I get the opportunity of welcoming in new residents to my city all the time. And many of them have become very close friends and have built great lifelong friendships here. So I think it's probably true regardless of where you live, but I know in Arkansas, at least in my part of the state, there's some great folks. We love to see our area grow. We love to see people come here, get plugged into the community, and we love to all thrive together. And so this is a place where you can find your tribe, find your people, plug in, and have a great time. Maybe you can go on some trips together, go hunting, fishing, camping, and have a great time with that group. And hey, if you're in the market for real estate here in Arkansas, or maybe even in Northeast Arkansas specifically, just drop me a comment below, or you can reach out to me in any of the ways listed in the description. I would love to talk with you and see if this could be a good fit. If you found this video helpful and maybe you're thinking about calling Arkansas home, you need to check out my video on why not to move to Arkansas. So there are some things that I think everyone needs to know before they pull the trigger and call this place home.